starts to happen. 7, buying as much time as we can. That's one of the biggest things for you SMG players is, again, I'm going to say it again, your job is about playing your life. It's not necessarily about getting 2 or 3 kills or overheating. This is professional discipline. Gets the first kill of the next wave, brings the rest of his teammates into the play. This is something that you guys in ranked do not have. This is a professional discipline. He's not gone for the second. He's not gone for the third. He might be weak. He's buying time. He's bringing Ghosty into the play. Whether Ghosty's telling him to do it, whether Neptune realizes it, this is perfect stuff. Right, ladies and gents, welcome back to another episode of Play Like a Pro. This is we're doing Neptune's episode against Carolina Royal Ravens over this past weekend. With all of my Play Like a Pro series, what we're doing is we're going to be focusing purely on Neptune's arrow, so number 7 in this case, seeing how he reacts to situations, seeing how he plays, seeing how he fits with the team system, and anything that you guys can steal for your own gameplay, especially for players who are a big fan of Nep. To give you guys a little bit of context on my relationship with Neptune, I coached him briefly during the 2021 season. You could see the potential that he had in 2021, albeit now he's definitely grown a lot as an individual, grown a lot as a player, one of the most mechanically gifted and talented Halo players who have come over to Call of Duty. A lot of people do compare him to Shotzi in that regard. So it's nice to see the improvements that he has. Major 1 winner. I always told him that he's going to win a major when we coached. He has the raw ability and mechanical ability. One thing that he needed to work on back then was how he worked as part of a team, utilizing his talent to best serve his teammates and the win conditions, and being more selfless as a teammate. So when you have a player who can play at the pace that Neptune does, not only can he play at the pace, but he has the mechanical ability to get kills, to buy time. If you have that in the right areas of the map and you're able to utilize that, you are very, very valuable when it comes to winning. SMG players compared to AR players are the ones who win you games, and hopefully we are going to watch. So right here, Colossus Hardpoint. This is a new look. Paris Gentlemen, they've picked up Estriel. I will probably do a Play Like a Pro series video on Estriel, but not in this session. So what we're doing here, guys, Neptune. Before I begin, if you guys haven't already, check out my previous video on Scrap. I've done videos on Abizi, Simp, Dashi, Sib. So go ahead and check them out if you guys need any help or if you want to play like your favorite pros. Right, without further ado, let's get it in. We're focusing on number 7 entirely, how he fits with the team, how he plays individually. You've already heard that. Let's get it going. All right, their break off. 3-man towards time, 1 guy towards P4. Ghosty is going to be playing information for these guys to bounce across. I'm interested to see what he does as the first guy. Is he just going to slide across to take fights and then let the second guy chal over him? I'm interested to see what he does. Yes, he does. So what he's done here, guys, is he slid across as the first guy in your flow in order to drag aim assist to make it easier for the second guy, and he's in a position where anything that Ghosty sees, nades, stuns, any information, especially when he beats the timing here, he's going to be able to fight off that. What you'll find is, especially with your SMG players as the first guy, their job is to kind of predict where enemies are going to be on a break, where enemies are going to be on a route, and then use that to set up your teammates behind you. One of the biggest improvements I've seen with Neptune compared to when I coached him to now is he's more often the guy that's going to be dragging aim assist. He's more often the guy that's going to be taking a risky play. He's more often the guy that is going to be able to get space in order to set up number 2 or number 3. When I started off this video, I talked about how one big key for Neptune was learning when to be selfless versus selfish. When can he utilize his talent for the team? Well, this is one situation right off the break off that is showing you, hey, he's willing to be the sacrificial lamb for his teammates behind. Drag aim assist, get information. He's challenging across the time, and very nice to see from them. Jumps down. Now, he's going to be playing off Ghosty's information, and then based on that, we're in a 4v3. So what we need to do is, after we've got the first kill, we need to be in tradable positions. We need to predict the trade and we need to be in positions where we're team shooting based on specific information we are getting. So I can imagine with the two SMG players, as soon as they start getting information from the ARs of where people are going to be and the information they get in the moment, they're going to be swinging around to try and take fights and basically try and steal the fight. Look at number 7, bouncing round, fighting with Estriel. Number 8 is trusting 6, 7 and 8 together. Ends up dying, so Estriel's to get the trade. Right, comes off spawn, 44 seconds left. We're going into the second wave. His spawn is going to tell you where their furthest pushed out progression is. He's going to look at his minimap, understand the win condition of his team, understand his positioning in the flow, what he needs to do for a trade, what he needs to do for the game plan, and the system that Paris have. And Paris usually have really good systems on hardpoint. They're a very good hardpoint team. Spawns up close, as close as he can towards the time, on top of a teammate essentially. That tells you they have no progression past the 50, so he's going to refill where necessary and play with pace. Third guy in the flow. Number 3 has just killed Estriel, so we know at least one person is going to be here. We have a good idea someone else is going to be here. We don't know how many people are going to be here. We understand the timings. We understand the time it takes off spawn to take a certain route. So I'm curious to see what Neptune or number 5 does in this. Sorry, number 6 or 5 does in this situation. Number 7 has decided to take a pinch, which is not a bad time to do so, especially when you know enemies don't have progression. But the most important thing, guys, when you are pinching and learning when to pinch, is the timing of the pinch. The pinch in itself is not bad. What makes a pinch good or bad or effective as part of a team is when you do it as part of a wave. If you get a clean wave, then yes, you can allow someone to take a pinch route to catch people off spawn if you time it right. If you don't time it, then these guys end up getting out traded and you end up manipulating spawns where then they can just start to read, hey, one of the guys are pinching in a certain way. So it's very careful, and really you need to understand when to pinch. Let's see how he does it here, number 7. So this was a perfect opportunity to pinch. His spawn, he's not reading the fact that number 7's not past the 50, manipulating this side. He spawns there. In his mind, he's saying, right, there's nobody pushed out on this side, which technically is true. This is a well-timed pinch. He should get 1 or 2 kills here because of the way he's timed it. Had he moved past the 50 out of the time quicker and then caused one of the players to end up spawning here, depending on how far he pushes, well, one of the enemies on Carolina will then turn around because that's their warning signal that, hey, somebody is pinching towards the P3 side of the map. This was a very expertly done pinch, and I need you guys to understand when to pinch versus when not to pinch. Ends up picking it up, but good job. Let's see if he gets that kill. Very nice. Ends up getting the kill. 30 seconds left. He can commit if he wants to, because even if he dies, that's one less person out of the play. Ends up decided to play his life, rotates across towards statue, and now they're taking their numbers towards areas of the map that they want to control in order to win the next wave. Let's see what he does here. This is what the best in the world on Call of Duty see that you don't. You're hard stuck. You're wasting time playing and you're not improving again. Yeah, your aim is a problem, but that is only such a small part of it. Stop paying for advice from content creator coaches and maybe you'll finally improve. You've watched all the tips and tricks videos you can. You've tried the YouTube coaches. You're still stuck. Let a world champion coach explain to you why. In 60 seconds, I'm going to teach you exactly how my pro players would make quick and efficient and quick decisions. And a big part of playing with the best isn't your aim and movement. It is your decision making. This one decision making move is going to separate you from someone who's hard stuck platinum for 3 seasons. Now, let me explain to you guys watching the one framework that pro players use in order to make decisions. This framework is what me and my pro players would use in order to make quick, efficient decisions and introduce a concept called scripting that you guys do not have. So I'm going to introduce you to what we call the decision making tree. This is how pro players make decisions. It starts off with awareness. Your awareness is your input. You can get a variety of different information from different what we call channels. We need to make sure we have the right pieces of information and the most complete picture in order to make a decision. Once we have our input, we will then evaluate this. Your evaluation is considered your macro. This is what is considered a good, a bad, or proactive decision, and what is your job in the moment in order to give your team or yourself the best chance of winning. Once you know what your job is, we then do what's called decision. Your decision is your micro. This is how do you take the fight. Your first bullet advantage, your health management, different types of slide cancels, your percentages in the fight, what angles you want to use, anything that can allow you to actually win and see in front of you the one-on-one fight. Once you've decided what you want to do, you communicate this, and there's a method for communication, and then you act. This means doing something without hesitation. When you look at this, you will see that there are 5 steps, and it can get quite complicated, but the difference between you and the pro players is this is automated and this is scripted. This is one of the most underexplained skills in Call of Duty, because 2 players could have the same awareness. They could see the same picture, read the same information, but one player will produce a decisive decision and the other player will just do absolutely nothing. That gap is what I'm going to teach you. This is trainable. Each step can be drilled and each step can be automated. Right, that was one concept in 60 seconds. Imagine me and you did this and we broke it down in 4 weeks. I have spent over 10 years at the highest level of Call of Duty. I've coached players like Hydra, Crimsix, Sib, Clayster, Neptune, Skies. I'm a CDL world champion. I've won 15 titles and challenges, and I've also competed at the highest level myself. I've played at the Advanced Warfare Pro League, Infinite Warfare Champs, and World War II Champs, with the top 5 KD and Slayer rating for that event. This July, I am running my first ever bootcamp where you can learn this and more. The exact frameworks that I've installed and helped build and do with CDL champions. You are getting the material that my players have done themselves, taught across 4 weeks. Your decision tree, tee-ups, map control, champions framework, first bullet advantage, health management, all the nerdy stuff to guarantee improvement in your game. This is the same framework that got one player from platinum to top 250 in 16 hours, one from gold to iridescent in 8, and 2 players in the CDL. This will be only for July. 10 spots. Once it's gone, it's gone. Stop wasting time with content creator coaches. Stop wasting time not improving. Train the way the best in the world do it. Look at him, the way he's sliding. He's ironing, sliding from good spot to good spot. One of you guys, one major tip for you SMG players in order to make your SMG game a lot more efficient and a lot more sort of consistent is learn where the good spots are on every single map. Learn where the power positions are every single map. And based on where you think enemies are going to be, choose the right spot to give yourself the best chance of killing that guy. This is what we call SMG bouncing. You'll see a lot of SMGs will bounce from good position to good position to good position to good position, almost like the floor is lava in a sense. And it allows you, without thinking about it, to increase your percentages of any fights you take to a certain extent. Does a good job here. Now he knows where they're coming, trying to get to the next best spot. Now he realizes, right, he can't kill the guy because he slid behind. Now if Neptune continues to fight and continues to commit, well, now he's taking a low percentage fight. Guys, for you watching, the more you play Call of Duty, the more the gunfights that you take end up being very linear. They become very repetitive and very consistent. You will start to know as you take fights what fights you can take versus what fights you really can't take from a consistent percentages standpoint. At the end of the day, everyone shoots straight, everyone shoots and aims basically the same as each other. The players who end up getting the most success understand the percentages of fights that they take, and they always try and manipulate the percentages without doing anything really remarkable. It's understanding what your position is, understanding how you want to camera, what positions you want to play, what's an SMG fight, what's an AR fight, and always just try and put yourself in positions to get the highest percentage versus any fight that you take. So right here, full health, he will have the advantage if he then ends up peeking out to take the fight on Nep. This is a disadvantageous fight for Nep, so he has to understand he can either commit and take that chance, or in the moment, you essentially slide away, and then retake that fight. I'm telling you, pro players, they're really good at that. That's why they scrim for hours and hours and hours. So right here, doesn't take that fight. Now he knows someone's P1, and now we can start taking fights. Why? Because we have numbers right here. Once you have numbers, then you can take a lot more risk. Your kill feed is what we call a risk calibration. I like to call it a risk calibration tool. Your kill feed basically tells you how much risk you can take and how fast you can take these fights. So when you get a certain amount of kills, you can take a certain amount of risk. Right here, they're in a 3 versus 1. That means they all can basically ape in order to try and then kill the last guy. Guys, one of the biggest things for you SMG players is learn and understand how you want to play with the script. Meaning, if X happens, we're going to do Y. COD is not this super duper complicated, situationally varied game. It's not like League of Legends where there's so many different champions and so many different matchups and so on, and so many different variables you need to control. Call of Duty is a very linear game once you understand the game in terms of scripts, because the same thing happens over and over and over again. You start to make very quick and very efficient decisions, and it's very, very important for you as an SMG player that you start to understand scripting. So if this happens, I'm going to do this. We call it a trigger event. And for you guys who want to develop muscle memory and trigger events and scripts, get some coaching with me. I will help install that like I did with my pro players. But right here, you have numbers. If X happens, we're going to do Y. 3v1. All you have to do is, okay, we're looking for one. We're just going to take risk. Where do I think the next guy is going to be? You just go. You just play to die. One of you is a sacrificial lamb with 20 seconds left. Play to kill him. Soak the time. Play the next wave. Then right here, slides, takes that fight, 2-1. Now think ahead, 18 seconds. We know where they're spawning. First guy in flow. How do we want to play the next wave? What's our game plan? What's our win condition? All of these different things in your head. So he's trying to play for you. Really good jump here. So this is where I want you guys to start using your jumps, right? In this situation, if you're Neptune with 17 seconds left, you're looking at your kill feed in this manner. You know, right? I know where they're spawning. If you know where they're spawning, you have a good idea of timings of where people could be. You know exactly where they're spawning, what routes they could take potentially based on where you are. So he's anticipating and predicting where one player on Carolina could be. We don't know he is. We just think he could be, right? The reason why that distinction is really important for you guys watching is SMG players, use your wall jump in order to start getting that information, that specific information as you're moving. If you know that the enemies can't already be P2, but you have an idea they're in this area or potentially this area, but they're not in this danger bubble, then use your wall jump, use your run to start cameraing, play for information. And what that does is that kind of, number 3 is expecting a fight to be on the floor. He's not going to be centered for it. So what he's doing is you use your elevation to basically get across, get that information, play your life, and stay alive a lot longer, just in case someone is there. Look how he does it. Plays really high. He gets weak, but he's still alive in order to do something. Now we can have a good idea where number 5 spawns, where the enemies could be. Number 8 can help him because now we know it's a 2v1. We don't know how many people of the blue team are on this side of the map, but it gives you a better idea as you're playing by staying alive and using your wall jump in order to get that information. Information is king. Right, he spawns here. That's going to tell you at least one player is going to be here. There could be more, so he's going to clear it. Now, these two are together. What you need to do at 14 seconds is, right, we don't know how many people are on this side of the map. Let's try and get information. Let's try and play together. Trust your flow. If X happens, we're going to do Y. And look at that, playing together. He's not pushing towards the back because he doesn't know how many people he's looking for, just in case there was more people towards here, which is true. So right here, he's letting the game come to him. They don't have numbers. They're not in an advantageous position. So that's why he's not pushing up. So predict, anticipate where the next set of fights are going to be, and learn when you can take space versus when not to take space. Right here, he's not taking any space because he thinks he doesn't have the timing to do so. If he pushes out and gets caught sprinting, he's going to die and he's going to be a free death. A lot of it is also going to come down to the numbers and the macro. Right, you don't know how many people you're looking for. Realistically, it could be a 3 versus 2. If you trade and go 1 for 1, you've lost the situation anyway. So right here, you have good positions on you. You know it's going to be P2 next. Therefore, you just let the game come to you, play to take fights together, get that information, finesse life, and then you can flip. A lot of issues I have with you guys who play hardpoint is you guys don't recognize when enemies already have a setup. This is almost like a wave by wave concept or a kill by kill concept. Right here, when you don't have a clean wave and you know where they're spawning, you have a general idea of the timings they have and the routes they're going to take relative to your position. You don't know exactly how many, you just have a general idea. What you should do is when you have an assumption, when you have a prediction of what's going on in the map, you have to confirm it and play off it. So right here, they're not pushing through because they know that Carolina's on that side of the map. They just don't know how many. And even at worst case, it's a 3v2. They don't have the ability to trade. You guys don't do that. You guys will push through, maybe get one kill, end up getting traded, die because you don't have the numbers, and then wonder why you haven't flipped them, right? It's a very big thing, understanding the numbers, at least guessing the numbers, and playing to understand how much space you can get based on the intuition you have in the moment. And that's what he's doing here. Really good job.
People, and as time went on, that went away.
Pushing out. Now he's going to take his time. There you go. Look, playing his kills. Nice. See, exactly what I said. You can let the game come to you as you're clearing. He uses his movement, gets into that corner right here, gets to, and now he's not forcing it. He's not running around like a maniac. It's a very controlled, good spot to good spot kind of manner. That's how you get the two. Beautiful stuff here. 3 seconds. Now we know where they're spawning. Look at where we're spawning. We know they have no progression. Now it's up to what your game plan is. Who's responsible for what lane? They'll get specific information and they'll shift across to try and team shoot. Paris were one of the best teams all year at understanding where the enemies are coming from, getting that specific information, and then playing to team shoot. The pace that they had allows them to play aggressive and take fights together. Look at him pushing out. Does a good job. Shifts across. Now he's trying to play to trade number one. He's going to get across, predict where he's going to be, ends up trading him, and he's committing to that fight. This is the power of Neptune. Neptune does not hesitate with any decision. He's gone. Now right here, after he's made that play, he's rotated to shift across to play for a trade when his teammate has died, doesn't hesitate, runs up forward, kills that guy, doesn't hesitate to bump out. The less hesitation you have, the less information you're going to give your enemies, the more hesitation the enemies are going to get. The quicker you do something, the less time you give enemies to react to it. That's why Neptune is really, really good. He gets one kill, instantly bumps out, plays to pinch statue with an SMG, and now look at him. They've got a clean 4. Now you do your micro within your macro, which means what's his job? What does he need to do? And then with the gun you have is your micro. Like, how do you want to do it? Keep it as simple as that. How do you want to do it? Right here, first guy in the flow, he has a free life if you wanted. He's going to try and play his life with a free life. If he dies, he's going to spawn up close anyway. He's going to try and get the first kill of the next wave. Their win condition here is to soak. Beautiful stuff. He's going to bump out, take fights, and he's going to use his weapon to take fights from good position to good position. So let's see what he ends up doing here. Bumps out, plays that P4, takes the fight, gets to good spot. Like I said, guys, Pro COD is about getting to the next best position before your opponents. He ends up getting to the next best position, but gets team shot. It's fine, because guess what happened? He's going to end up potentially spawning close and then refill where the pressure is coming from. So now he knows one person's there, two persons there. We don't know where he is. So very, very good job from Neptune using his free life in the moment. Now, 38 seconds, he should spawn close, which he does. There you go. Like I said, spawns close. Why? Because they now have no map progression. And that is an effective way of using your free life on hardpoint, is once you get a clean wave, the first guy needs to be able to be comfortable dying quickly, pushing stuff out. If you start to push stuff out and you end up dying, well, guess what? You've given yourself enough time to spawn close to the hill right here. And when you spawn close to the hill, you have a general idea, or you have specific information of where enemies are going to be. When you have specific information at 34 seconds based on where you're spawning, you have a good idea where the pressure is coming from. When you know where the pressure is coming from, you do the same thing again. You choose the next best position with the weapon that you have to take fights and team shoot. This is now your micro within the macro. Your job is telling you, right, we know where the pressure is coming from. We're going to team shoot. The weapon you have will dictate how you end up doing it. So look at him, keeping the game controlled. Now once they start making kills together, look at how he's playing. Ends up getting 2'd, but that's just unfortunate. But the general sense of how they played it was really, really good. Right, ends up spawning out, so he's calling out, yo, we know they're spawning behind. Really good job from 2 picking him up. That's just honestly really unfortunate. Right, ends up spawning towards the back. 12 seconds left. They're going to play for the scrap time. Why? Because they've got the first kill of the next wave. You guys need to stop over-rotating. I'm telling you, this game is dumb. We are playing a small map. You don't have to rotate every single time at 25 seconds. Give teams a free 25, rotate, and because the game is fast, because of the spawn system, you die once, you spawn in Africa. No, when you get numbers, you can, and you had old spawns, you can challenge old. It's completely fine. If you have the numbers and you have the teamwork, you can challenge old, make kills, and still flip them behind you. So you can get your cake and you can eat it too. And I know you guys love cake. I know you guys love cake. All right. All good. All good. They tried. It's just Exceed just goes to 3-piece. All good. Don't worry about it. Nobody tweak. All right. What they're doing here, chat, is they'll eventually set up a 3-1. Essentially the first guy in flow is going to take a route. This is now where your game plans come into fruition. This is what I call a linear situation, meaning these are situations that happen repeatedly or can happen repeatedly. When you have a situation that happens repeatedly, the solution ends up being consistent. I'm curious, at 57 seconds, they need to break the hill. They know what their spawn means. They have a good idea of Carolina pushing out. They're going to start anticipating where the break's going to be. They're going to try and read the setup. So I'm curious what lanes they're going to take, how they're going to take the fights, are they going to do a 3-1, and how they activate together. So let's see how they do this. They get 1. So once they have numbers, are they going to take the quickest route towards the hill? So first guy taking the longest route. These guys are taking complementary routes. They're playing to break together. Nice. 7 has taken a full route. He's the first guy in the flow. And this is your superstar learning when to take a route in order to make the game easy for the rest of your teammates. Really, really good job from Nep. First guy in the flow, taking the longest route. Teammates taking complementary routes. Get the first kill. Collapse. Make it feel like you are everywhere on the map. Guys, on breaks, you have to either do a 3-1 or make it feel like you are everywhere on the map. One guy can take the longest route. The first guy can take the longest route. The 3 other guys can take complementary routes as long as they take the same fight. You want to feel like you are suffocating opponents and feel like you are everywhere on the map. When you feel like you're everywhere on the map, everyone is forced to essentially take 1v1s, 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 and you can start to open micro timings for the rest of your teammates to get lucky kills, shoot someone in the side, and start to force out trades. Very, very good job. I swear, I feel like sometimes in this game, breaking is easier than holding. Genuinely. Comes off spawn, last guy in the flow. His job should be to block spawns. Wherever the pressure is coming from, you refill towards time, you trade towards time. This is not the situation to pinch. Why? Because it's not a clean wave. There's only a few situations where you are not the first guy in the flow to pinch. He's the third guy. Compared to the previous situation, his job is, while they have progression on the hill, they have numbers, they have trades, is to just be in positions where they can team shoot. If it was a clean wave and you get the no map progression spawn, then I don't mind you pinching because that's the right time to do it. Right, let's see what the game plan is. Last guy comes off spawn, should read number 3's here. We're playing for him. Neptune using his movement. Beautiful. Let's watch Nep here. So Neptune takes the fight on him. Predicts someone's going to be in the X-ray. Because we're looking for one. Look at his centering. Always ready for that fight here. Look at how he's using his movement to set up the fight when you know or predict where someone is going to be. We don't know Standy is here, but as he's clearing, he's predicting him to be here. He's anticipating him to be here. So look at him using his movement to set that up. Look how he uses it. Ends up jumping across, taking that fight. So what you can do, guys, is as you're in the air, you can press your slide button. It queues up the slide without you pressing anything. That's what he's done here. And look at him taking that fight again and again. Now he's one shot. He's trying to buy as much time as he can because his map progression is spawning them deep. Rest of his teammates can get to him. His life is really important. Look at him playing his life here. Your job as an SMG, guys, is not about kills, it's more about how you can play your life. The best SMGs know how to play their lives in order to bring the rest of their teammates into the game, especially on this spawn system where map progression is everything. Look how deep they're spawning simply by number 7 compared to spawning here. Playing his life, doing what he can. He's on a 3 streak. Look at the way he's challenging. Good effort. Look at the way he's using his movement to break cameras, drag aim assist, to get first bullet advantage. The key for you SMG players is if you're playing a good position and you're using your movement to set up fights, how do you get first bullet advantage? And every time, and Nep is the definition of first bullet advantage. When he uses his movement, he is trying to get first bullet advantage on you every single time. Look at him. He's shooting before he's even ironed. He's trying to get first bullet advantage. He knows Exceed is weak. And a big thing about you SMGs is if you're going to play aggressive, don't be afraid, especially if you have an SMG. Especially, like, maybe he may not know in the moment if this guy has an AR, but especially if the other guy has an AR, don't be afraid to invest your health, get shot once or twice, just so you can reduce the distance, and finish that kill. Some players like Paco, Shotty, Abizi, they're really good at understanding from a percentage standpoint. If I've got more health than you, you're weak. You've got only 50% health. I've got 100% health. Well, guess what? I'm going to invest my 100%, just slide around to take a fight and guarantee that kill. And look what he does here, playing with aggression, running it down. And he has an AR, so the AR could get the first bullet, he's still going to die. 12-7, look at him moving, chaining his movement. Beautiful stuff from there. Right, 12-8, let's see what he does here. 47 seconds, they need to break the hill. Spawns next to a teammate. Right, let's see how they break this. Are they going to start taking routes, taking a P1 route? Yep, Nep is going to be taking a route here. They're going to do a 3-1. They have P1 control, they're buying time front. They're buying time, opening up the map for Neptune. Neptune takes the route again. Route man gets paid. Gentlemen do a fantastic job of staying alive, dragging the pressure. Nobody dies needlessly. The first guy takes a long route. Neptune, beautiful stuff, ends up breaking the hill for them. Number 7's on time. 14 seconds left. Ooh, if possible, ends up dying. 20 seconds left. Let's see what we can steal from here. Right, now we spawn up, refill towards time. We'll play to trade towards time. This is our game plan. 12 seconds left. If we make another wave, we can push forward, secure the time, flip them behind. So look at them doing it together. Just as long as we fight together, you're the first guy in the flow, dragging aim assist. This is what I like. This is the development of Neptune over the years. Is you are the first guy in flow, or essentially you are going to be the first guy in flow, but look at him dragging aim assist. We don't know number 3 is here. Number 3 could be here, he could be here, he could be here, he could be here. We don't know. But look at the way he plays it with an SMG. Is he sliding across? He knows where the choke points are. He knows where the line of sights are. He knows what you're going to be pre-aiming essentially. And by using your movement to get information, it makes the game easy for the rest of your teammates. For you and as an SMG, it's about playing your life and getting information to set up the game for the rest of your teammates. He could have just banged it down like this and died. I need you guys to kind of understand how to use the map to your advantage to try and get information to set up for the rest of your team. Stop having this like really selfish individual viewpoint and look at how do I set up the rest of my teammates in order to make the wave easy. When you play the game of Call of Duty by doing your 25% and by helping to set up the rest of your teammates, it makes your own gameplay that much more easier. And look how he does it. So number 3 could very well have just done this and he's playing to clear it. And look at how he uses movement to make him shoot and then make it easy for the rest of his teammates. Now look at him. He could have got caught here. He could have committed straight down here. Uses it to slide, take the fight on number 2. And now we know where number 3 is. And now we can trade him. And now we can push through the back. Because now we know where he is. And now we just know where he is. And we win the trade battles. We don't even win the wave. But by trading in the right areas of the map set up by Neptune as the first guy in the flow to get information for the rest of the players, this is how you then snowball advantages and you end up getting the situation in your favor. That's why kills in the right areas of the map is really, really important. They could have played to kill these guys. But if these guys are still alive towards the back, all good. You're both going to spawn out anyway, get parallels. Very, very good. Now 7, first guy in the flow, rotating towards the hill, playing to use his movement again to try and get first bullet advantage. Look at him using his movement to try and set up the fight for you SMG players. When you are in gunfights, use your movement, your slide cancelling, your wall jumping, your bunny hopping to get first bullet advantage. Go from good position to good position. Look at him using his movement again and again to try and set up the fight. If he doesn't get naded, he kills that guy. Really, really good trades. We're trading through the time. Really good hold from Paris. Now again, we just got to trade. Why? We have progression. Beautiful stuff. We just keep trading and trading and trading. Look at number 7 towards the right side of the time. We go from good spot to good spot. He's going to then fight off number 8. This is how we then get a nice little bait and switch. When you understand where your teammates are, you can then take fights together. You can peek off each other. If one guy chows, you chow with him. If he doesn't chow and he baits, you can then chow off that. That's how we get synergy in teamwork, by controlling the positions. Look at number 7, baiting for number 8. 8 can take a timing, ends up killing 1, ends up killing 2, and now we're together based on the information we're getting. Look at Ghosty immediately shifting across to try and take the same fights. This is how you clean up the wave. If you have numbers in a wave, learn how to steal each other's kills. When you get that information, clean the wave. Don't overshift until you have information. When you get specific information, 2v1, 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 2v1. And look at number 7, should help number 2 here. Ends up dying from behind, all good, we didn't read it, doesn't matter. Now we killed the guy P1. Ghosty, really, really good job. So now 10 seconds left, we know exactly where they're spawning. We know what number we are in the flow. We just got to play wave by wave by wave, get that information, choose power positions based on the weapon we have. Our macro determines the micro. Understand where the pressure is coming from. You have an SMG, choose SMG positions, get first bullet advantage for the next fight. Number 7 is playing towards statue. Does he bump across for number 6 to get it? Let's see. Yep, he does. He's bumping across here to take SMG fights. Again, when you play Call of Duty over and over, you know which fights are favorable. There's only a certain amount of fights you can take every single map. It's the same over and over and over and over. So you get a general sense of what fights you want to take versus what not to take. I'm not sure I like this. Even from a minimap perspective, all good. He's picking up the right. He's re-pinching it. Interesting. One could, unless that's the side they want. Yeah, okay, that's the side they want. Now they're going to re-bump out. Macro determines your micro. First guy in the flow. Understand where they're spawning. When you understand where they're spawning, you know what timings they potentially have. When you know what timings they potentially have, you know who you've killed, who you're looking for first, second, third, fourth. When you know who you've killed first, second, third, fourth, you know what weapon they have. When you know what weapon they have, you know what position you could play, what you should be bouncing into. And he's going to be trying to take a timing to get to a good position to try and get the first kill of the next wave to make it a 4v3. And then you can start team shooting. Again, this is very, very repetitive stuff. Look at him. Gets the like I said, gets the next best position. Whoop-de-doo. Playing to get first bullet advantage, banging him down. It's number 3 Standy, probably has him weak. Takes the fight on an AR player. He's moving, he's dancing, he's trying to be very, very annoying. Now we're in a 4v3. All we have to do is buy as much time as we can, put yourself in tradable positions, try and team shoot. I expect Ghosty to either keep watching this or bang out potentially if fights start to happen. 7, buying as much time as we can. That's one of the biggest things for you SMG players is, again, I'm going to say it again, your job is about playing your life. It's not necessarily about getting 2 or 3 kills or overheating. This is professional discipline. Gets the first kill of the next wave, brings the rest of his teammates into the play. This is something that you guys in ranked do not have. This is a professional discipline. He's not gone for the second. He's not gone for the third. He might be weak. He's buying time. He's bringing Ghosty into the play. Whether Ghosty's telling him to do it, whether Neptune realizes it, this is perfect stuff. You're watching the pros lift all the trophies. You dream about seeing your name in the lights. You wish you could be good enough to make content. You wish you could be good enough to play like the players you are watching in this video. But nothing's changing. Again, you're stuck. You're making the same mistakes, the same frustrations, the same gunfights you feel like you should be winning, the same ceiling. You look around and the players who just look like they come out of nowhere, players who used to be below you, players that are younger than you, getting better than you, climbing past you. They're the ones who get the opportunities. And you're sat there and you don't know why. My name is D-Real. I am the 2023 Call of Duty World Champion. 15 years in esports, 7 years at the top level, 5 major titles, Esports Coach of the Year nomination in 2023. I have coached CDL champions like Hydra, like Skies, like Crim6, like Sib. I've even coached Myth. He has 11 million followers. I know exactly what separates you from them. Here's what most of you guys don't realize. You're not stuck because you don't grind enough. A lot of you guys put enough hours in. But guess what? You are stuck because you don't know what you don't know. You're grinding without a system. Pro players, they can shoot, they can move. But guess what they have? They have better systems than you. How they think, how they decide, how they read the game, how they recover. That's the gap. And that's exactly what I rebuild in 8 hours with you. Now, you stop being a player that people don't want to team with. That player that people want to team with. The player that casters mention. I am opening up 2 slots for July for my Pro World Championship coaching. Duos, trios, full squads. 8 hours of full coaching, the same system that I built CDL champions on. You name it, how you look at the game, what you think about the game, decision making, breakdowns, mechanics, everything rebuilt from the ground up for your actual team. You do not have to figure any of this out yourself. I will do the analysis, I build you up, I do all the work. You show up, apply the system, and watch you and your teammates transform. Here's my guarantee. You do the 8 hours, you apply it for 30 days, and you will, and I guarantee it, every single person has, you will rank up, and I will keep coaching you for free if you don't. Players who have done my coaching, they have gone on to play for top challenger teams. Some of them are in the pro league. One player went from platinum to top 250 in 16 hours. That is not a coincidence. That is a system with deliberate, purposeful practice. You and your teammates get the same system. 2 slots, July, duos, trios, quads. Get that discount, limited, because I put time into you. It's really bad timing, but 7 was in a position to get the kill. Doesn't end up getting the kill. That's so bad timing. I'm not gonna lie. If he continued to commit and 7 child at the same time, yeah, Ghosty might die. But like, that's just really bad timing. But you guys get the idea. They end up fighting together, and there you go. Let the game come to you. Beautiful stuff. Now we do it again. 3rd guy in the flow. We know exactly where they're going to spawn. Last guy's going to confirm where they're spawning. Perfect. And then based on that, we'll shift across based on what we need to hold. This is our setup. This is our plan. We're shifting across trading. Look at us. Easy as that. Your game plan then dictates what positions you play, where you want to hold. And now you have numbers. You ape out, and this is beautiful from Paris. Textbook numbers right here. Now we do the same stuff, but we on the other side. Exactly the same. This is pattern recognition. When you do it once, you can do it again. You can apply it again, and then again and again. It becomes really easy to do because the game is very linear. The game is very... there's symmetry in how setups work. There's symmetry in the hills and the flow and stuff like that. 7 rotates across. Now we know where the pressure's coming from. Instead of waiting to hold the right side like you guys in rank could do, once they get specific information in the flow, he's shifting across to try and trade, to try and go 1-for-1. And then the positions he plays will be the weapon that he has. Ends up dying. Ghosty with the pre-fire. Wow, Ghosty's insane. Holy. That was nice. I ain't gonna lie, it was really nice. They end up spawning up. And now refilling towards time, using that movement to try and get first bullet advantage again and again and again. That's the biggest thing for you SMG players. Now he's going to try and get across. He's taking the route P1, trying to take some fights to help his teammates, using his movement to try and get first bullet advantage, try and camera to ring the guy centering. Doesn't end up working, but now 14 seconds left. We're trying to rotate for new. Now we have information that there's 2 people on new, 1 at least on old. Now we need to just try and play and fight together. Look at the way he's challenging. Good stun, using that stun for information. We stun him, he's taking the fight off a stun. He cameras the guy. He basically snake cameras the guy. Child's off it, plays the time, 56 seconds left. Look at him just shouldering for information, or strafing for information. He's not shouldering. And once they get specific information, he's going to fight off a teammate. And look at the speed he has when he gets that information. And look at the way he's fighting over and over again. No tweaking, using that slide cancel to camera, uses that little bit of a snake, and he's using that movement to set up fights. We're trying to get first bullet advantage. Look at his centering. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. King Nep right there.